Be me, 26, software developer. Average looking, not a slob, but not a model either. Ride the city bus every morning because parking downtown is a scam. Bus is always packed by 8 a.m. I always get on at the third stop, so I usually get a seat. Have this routine locked in for 2 years. One Tuesday morning, bus is extra packed. I grab my usual window seat near the middle, put my bag on my lap, plug in earphones, minding my own business like a normal human. About 4 stops later, a woman gets on. Maybe late 30s, business casual outfit. She looks around and sees no seats. Sighs loudly, looks directly at me. I look back, look away. Continue listening to my podcast. She sighs again, louder this time. Still looking at me, I can feel her stare burning through my earphones. The guy across the aisle is also seated, so is the guy behind me. So is literally everyone else on this bus. But she is looking at me specifically. I ignore it. She grabs the overhead rail right next to my seat. Not across the bus, not somewhere else. Directly next to me, as close as physically possible, still staring. At this point, the whole bus has that awkward energy. Nobody says anything. I keep my eyes forward. After about 3 minutes, she clears her throat. I take out one earbud. Are you going to offer me your seat? She says it like a disappointed mother. I look at her. Look at the guy across the aisle who is also seated. Look at the guy 2 rows up who is also seated. Look back at her. There are other people standing too. She blinks. Like that did not compute? Excuse me? There are other people standing. I do not see why I should give you my seat specifically. She stares at me for a solid 5 seconds. Pure silence. I am a woman, I nod slowly. I noticed. She makes this noise somewhere between a gasp and a scoff, a scasp. A gasp wrapped in full outrage. So you are just going to sit there? Yes. The bus collectively holds its breath. She turns to the guy across the aisle. Can I have your seat, please? He immediately stands up. Of course, sorry, yes, here you go. Scrambles like he stepped on a live wire. She sits down. Glares at me once more for good measure. I put my earbud back in. Normal Tuesday. Get to work. Forget about it entirely. Eat my lunch, write some code, attend a pointless meeting. Standard issue Wednesday follows. Standard issue Thursday. Friday morning, I get a message from my friend Marcus. Dude, have you seen this? Sends me a link. It is a Twitter post. Someone on the bus had filmed the whole thing on their phone. 30 seconds of video. Just me saying there are other people standing. And her saying, I am a woman, and me nodding slowly. The caption reads, Man refuses to give up seat for woman on bus. This is what misogyny looks like. 40,000 likes. Video has been viewed 900,000 times. In 3 days. I stare at my phone for a very long time. Comments are split directly down the middle. Half the comments are calling me a disgusting chauvinist. Half are calling me a legend. Both sides are equally unhinged. Top comment from someone called FemFuture 2024. This is literally why women do not feel safe in public spaces. 11,000 likes? Reply from someone called Dad of 3 Normal. She felt unsafe because a man did not stand up on a bus. With handles? 8,000 likes. Another comment. Men have been conditioned to see women as less deserving of basic courtesy. Reply, she demanded courtesy from a stranger and got offended when he treated her like everyone else. Reply to the reply, you are part of the problem. Reply to the reply to the reply, what problem? She got a seat. Someone made a long thread about it. Academic style breakdown with sources. Talked about chivalry as a mechanism of patriarchal control. But also argued that men refusing chivalry is also somehow patriarchal. I read it twice. I still do not know what I was supposed to do. Another thread from the opposite direction. Some guy arguing that women demanded equality and now want to opt back into traditional treatment whenever convenient. He used the word hypocritical 14 times. I counted. Both threads had thousands of replies. Both sides were absolutely certain they were correct. Both were blocking anyone who disagreed. My face is not visible in the video, but my jacket is. A pretty distinctive olive green jacket with a patch on the sleeve. Started getting messages from people who somehow tracked down my workplace. Most were just "shame on you" type messages. A few were genuinely unhinged. One guy sent me 3 paragraphs about my ancestors. Marcus thinks the whole thing is hilarious. My coworker Priya does not. She comes to my desk on Monday. So that was you on the bus? Not a question. Yeah, why did you not just give her your seat? Why would I? Priya pulls up a chair. Because she is a woman and women have it harder in public spaces. She was not in danger. She wanted a seat. There were other people standing. But you are a man. So are 3 other people I pointed out. Priya thinks for a second. She felt singled out when she had to ask you. She singled me out when she asked me specifically. Priya does not have an immediate answer to that. If a pregnant woman had asked me, I would have stood up immediately. If an elderly man had asked, I would have stood up without hesitation. If anyone looked genuinely unwell, I would have offered before they asked. She looked healthy and capable and chose me specifically out of everyone else standing. Maybe she felt more comfortable asking a man. Why? Priya opens her mouth, closes it. Because traditionally men are expected to offer. So she used a traditional gender expectation when it benefited her. That is not fair. Which part? Priya leaves to get coffee. Does not come back to my desk that day. The video keeps climbing. A YouTuber with 2 million subscribers makes a reaction video. Title: Man refuses to give seat to woman, hero or villain. Watches the clip 3 times. Gives a 12-minute monologue. Concludes with, I think both sides have a point. Gets 400,000 views. Comments are worse than the original video. A feminist podcast picks it up next. Episode title: The Bus Seat Problem, Microaggressions and the Modern Male. They spend 40 minutes analyzing 30 seconds of video. One host argues I weaponized equality to humiliate a woman in public. The other host quietly says, but he kind of had a point though. First host does not speak to her warmly for the rest of the episode. You can hear the tension in the audio. A men's rights adjacent channel also covers it. They describe me as a warrior for equality. I'm not comfortable with that framing either. I become briefly internet famous for doing nothing on a bus. My mom calls Thursday evening. Your aunt sent me a link. I know, Mom. Why did you not just stand up? I did not want to. It is polite. It is also polite to not demand a stranger's seat because you are a woman. Long pause on the line. You always were stubborn. Thanks, Mom. I'm proud of you, I suppose. Thanks, Mom. Stand up next time. Goodbye, Mom. A journalist emails my workplace asking for comment. HR sends a company-wide email reminding staff not to speak to media. The email is accidentally sent with a read receipt turned on. 40 people accidentally confirmed they read it to the entire company mailing list. Our IT guy has a very bad afternoon. Week 2 of being bus seat guy. Things start to die down slightly. The internet moves on as it always does. Someone's dog does something funny in a video. A politician says something stupid. The bus video slides off the trending page. But something shifts slightly in my daily life. On the bus now people recognize my jacket. Some give me a nod. Some give me a look of genuine disgust. One older woman shook her head at me for a full 30 seconds without blinking. I counted because there was nothing else to do. A young guy, maybe 20, sits next to me one morning. You are bus seat guy, apparently. I think you were completely right. Okay, why should men automatically give up seats? That is not equality. I do not know. I was honestly just tired that morning. Exactly. Equality means equality. He nods to himself very seriously. Gets off 2 stops later looking very satisfied. A woman maybe 50 sits next to me a different morning. You are bus seat guy, apparently. My daughter showed me the video. Okay, she thinks you are terrible. And you? She thinks for a moment before answering. I think you were rude. Fair enough. But I also think she could have asked literally anyone else standing. She looks out the window at the passing street. Women my age were told to wait for a man to help us with everything. I hated it my whole life. I spent decades fighting to not need that. Quiet for a moment. Now younger women want it back when it suits them and drop it when it does not. I genuinely do not know what to think about that. She gets off at her stop. Does not look back. That conversation stays with me longer than the viral video ever did. Week 3. Things are mostly normal again. I have stopped checking social media for my olive jacket. Priya comes back to my desk Tuesday afternoon. I have been thinking about what you said. Okay. I still think you could have been more considerate in the moment. Maybe. But I also think she could have asked anyone on that bus. Yes. And she specifically chose the one person who did not immediately comply. Yes. And then treated you like you had personally wronged her for years. Yes. That part is genuinely a little unfair. I nod. But also, Priya says, leaning forward, men have historically used women in public spaces in much worse ways than just not standing up. Agreed completely. So I understand why the video read as threatening to some people watching it. Also fair. Priya picks up her coffee mug. I do not think you are a misogynist. Thank you. I think you are stubborn and probably a little oblivious to how things look. That is accurate. You should have just stood up honestly. Probably. But I understand why you did not. She goes back to her desk. That is the most honest take anyone has given me across this entire 3 weeks. A month later, life is completely normal again. Still take the bus every morning. Still sit in the same spot when I get there early enough. Still wearing the olive jacket. One morning I get on and there are no seats at all. I stand, grab the overhead rail, plug in my earphones, minding my own business. Older man gets on a few stops later, probably 70 years old, carrying 2 heavy bags. Nowhere to sit. I tap his arm lightly, point to the rail next to me. Wait 1 stop. As soon as someone near us stands up, I gesture for him to take the seat. He nods, sits down with some effort, says nothing. Nobody films it, nobody posts it online. Nobody makes a 40-minute podcast episode about it. Just a normal Tuesday morning. I get to work, write some code, eat my lunch alone, attend a pointless meeting about the previous pointless meeting. Still have not figured out what I was supposed to do on that first bus. Still not entirely sure anyone else has either. Still wearing the jacket?